Hi everyone, welcome to the February 2000 edition of Wavelength. Well, at their January meeting, the LCRA Board of Directors passed the long-anticipated Lake Travis Recreation Management Plan, which contains 30 measures designed to make Lake Travis safer and more enjoyable.
All in favor?
Aye. That vote capped a year-long process which started with a survey of 700 lake users and residents to identify potential problems. As you might expect, the top concerns expressed in the survey were noise, safety, and congestion on the lake. More than 2 million people visited Lake Travis last year, making it one of the most popular lakes in the state. Following the survey, LCRA staff developed a list of proposals which included limited bans on high-performance boats and personal watercraft, and a daytime speed limit of 40 miles per hour. These proposals, though never enacted, created quite a controversy among lake users. LCRA formed a 22-member volunteer stakeholder committee made up of marina owners, lake residents, boaters, and other interested parties to study these issues. The committee held 10 weekly meetings and agreed unanimously on 30 recommendations for the LCRA Board of Directors.
I first would like to thank the LCRA staff for their willingness to include our input in the development of these rules, and I also want to thank the fellow stakeholders that participated on the modification and their input to LCRA on these rules. I think the final rules, as they're recommended to the staff and the staff's recommending to the board, are fair. I think they're reasonable rules. I think they're a good starting point to address the problems that have been identified at Lake Travis.
I went to most of the meetings here. I went to a couple of the stakeholders meetings, and honestly, at the first of this process, I thought there's no way in God's green earth that these guys are going to ever agree on anything. I'm really excited about what they've agreed on, okay? My boat will pass the 92 decibel deal, so I'm a happy camper.
Dale, you want to go ahead and fire it up?
One of the key recommendations is the creation of a watercraft noise guideline of 92 decibels.
I was at 92 decibels, right on the money.
We invited the stakeholder committee to come down there and listen to the demonstration so they could understand how loud 92 decibels was, how loud 88 was, how loud 90 was. And after they came down and watched that demonstration, they went back and had a 3-hour meeting and discussed the results of the demonstration. And they reached a 100% consensus on adopting a 92 decibel level on Lake Travis.
And at the beginning of the boating season, before we start issuing any citations, we will be doing voluntary testing so that folks can bring their boats in ahead of time and have them tested to ensure that they comply with this new noise standard.
Other key proposals are continuing the nighttime speed guideline of 20 miles per hour, 2 additional LCRA rangers and equipment for year-round lake patrol and public education, require private boat docks to comply with safety construction standards, and requiring a no-wake speed within 50 feet of the shoreline, structures, or swimmers. These new rules will be implemented on Lake Travis starting May 20th, the week before Memorial Day weekend.
We will be doing an ongoing evaluation, stopping after the July weekend. We will be stopping after the Labor Day weekend, looking at what our successes we could do better at, tweaking the plan, back to the board, making recommendations that we do some changing. We'll continue to work with our advisory to get them to assist us to do that evaluation. In addition to that, we will be working with our stakeholders to get their feedback and input on how we're doing. We see this as an ongoing process.
Brazier says the process is already underway to implement similar actions on the other Highland lakes.
You will see us put together an implementation plan, meet with the Upper Highland Lakes advisory boards. We certainly do not want to push this problem upstream. We'll be meeting with them to talk to them about implementing the same management actions this year on the Upper Highland Lakes. We hope that that will be successful. That way we can be managing a chain of lakes in a very consistent manner.
The LCRA Board is scheduled to consider these proposals for the Upper Highland Lakes at their February meeting. For a complete list of the new Lake Travis rules, visit LCRA's website at lcra.org/lakeplan.
Well, in January, the LCRA secured the final piece of the water rights puzzle to ensure a 100-year supply of water for agriculture, municipal, and industrial water users within the Colorado River Basin. The LCRA agreed to pay $17 million for the rights to 55,000 acre-feet of run-of-the-river water held by the owners of the historic Pierce Ranch in Wharton County. The ranch was founded in the 1800s by Shanghai Pierce, one of the most colorful cattlemen in early Texas history. Pierce Ranch was the first to bring in the now famous Brahman cattle from India. The Pierce Ranch agreement also has a 50-year option for the LCRA to develop additional surface and groundwater supplies by drilling wells on the property or by building an off-channel reservoir to capture floodwaters.
Pierce, in combination with Garwood, in combination with our sale of water to the City of Austin, has finally allowed us to completely manage the water resources of the river. Now all of the large privately held water rights that were on the river are in the hands of the public with LCRA as the steward. So this was the last of a very complex puzzle, one that we had planned to get done, and on the day before Mark Rose left, we were able to get it done.
LCRA's $100 million water supply deal with the City of Austin last year enabled the LCRA to pay for the Garwood and Pierce Ranch water without having to raise water rates in the basin.
Just before the January board meeting began, General Manager Mark Rose sat alone at the executive table, preparing for what would be his last board meeting at the LCRA. After 13 years with the company, it was time to say goodbye.
Therefore, be it resolved that the LCRA Board of Directors expresses its appreciation to Mark Rose for its efforts to improve relationships, lead employees, and bring strategic direction to the LCRA, and wishes him prosperity and fulfillment in his future endeavors.
The board presented Mark Rose with this beautiful bronze longhorn, while the corporate services group brought this huge thank you card.
I think you touched every one of us in a very personal way and had an impact on many of our careers. And we just wanted to show you how much we appreciate and how much we're going to miss you. And we signed a little card. I think just about everybody in corporate services has signed it to let you know that we're thinking of you and that we wish you the best in your new career. And here are some of those folks to say thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and I'm going to take one brief privilege here, and then we'll sit down and start the meeting, and that is I have a gift for Joe Beal. I hope it's the right size, but I left the price tag on it, so, if it's not, so in case it's not, you can exchange it.
Thank you, Mark. I just hope I don't have... I just hope I'm not in a situation where I have to buy several of these and not wear this one for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. You've been great. You and all the boards that you represent. You have been so wonderful in supporting me and feeding my ego and feeding the ego of this organization and staying true to your role as board members. But more importantly, you've also been great when we haven't performed as well as we should, whether it's me personally or this organization. And the real test of an organization is how it treats a failure, how it treats a mistake, not whether or not it can celebrate a victory. It's a special place. You're very, very special people with a very, very important mission, and I think define the spirit and the magic of public service better than any other institution in Texas. God bless.
Right now, we'd like to share with you a special tribute to the General Manager that we produced recently. It's titled LCRA, the Mark Rose Years.
The LCRA has had some great managers. Clarence McDonough, Max Starkey, Sim Gideon, Charlie Harry, Elof Soderbergh, that controversial figure David Freeman, and most amazing, Mark Rose. But at the very beginning, LCRA was created to control floods and to produce some electricity.
When Mark first came in, being a history major, he went back and got pictures and everything of the LCRA back when Lyndon Johnson first had it all figured out and got it done.
We've gone way past just flood control and producing a little electricity. He took a little sleepy river authority and built it into one of the biggest utilities in Texas.
LCRA is the kind of company or quasi-public agency that could become obsolete if it were not for visionary leadership.
Mark came on board during Mr. Freeman's administration, succeeded him as a general manager, has done a very good job, I think, of building confidence in the agency.
LCRA had gone through a lot of changes under Dave Freeman, and it needed someone who knew the background and who knew what had been going on and how to continue from there. And Mark was just perfect.
An opportunity to join what I think is an outstanding organization.
He was recommended to me for this job by just about everyone in the top.
I'm extremely proud to be a member of this team.
And I decided that it was just too significant of an opportunity to pass up. I think I would have enjoyed being mayor of Austin, and I think I would have been a good mayor of Austin, and I also think it would have been really, really difficult in that election for me to have been elected. So I really never looked back. I've never had a single regret about being at the LCRA. It's just been a fabulous 13 years.
Mark Rose has been named Deputy
Mark
General
Rose
Manager.
becomes LCRA's 7th General Manager.
Opportunity to meet my family.
You got a blue ribbon organization. Beveline Boys.
Joint venture between LCRA and Colorado County.
I'm Tommy Lee Jones, and I was born
and I love the LCRA.
And out there in those hills, folks, is enough
I've never seen water this high.
I think the '91 flood was the defining moment for me as the general manager of LCRA, both within and outside of the organization.
These lakes were built for this purpose. They were built to protect the lives of the people in Austin, Texas. They were built to protect the lives of the people in Bastrop and Smithville and LaGrange and Wharton and Bay City. That's my job. That's the job of the people who work for LCRA.
I think people respected the fact that we called public meetings and dealt with people when they were at their angriest, when water was in their home, when they were hurting the most. And we made no excuses, and we just tried to communicate honestly and directly about what we can and cannot do in this system. Bob Bullock called me.
years later and gave me a credit I absolutely did not deserve. He called, he said, you know, Rose, wearing that red shirt and that red sweater is the slickest thing I've ever seen. Because he said, I would hear people say, and I had the same impression myself, that guy never goes home, he never sleeps, he always stays at the office, he's always working, because you're always wearing the same shirt. God, I wish I had thought of that, but I didn't.
We go down to the river.
So for this next decade, let us enjoy the river, swim in it, fish in it, canoe it, learn how to use it, and learn how to protect it. We fundamentally nearly killed this river, and we can again in the future kill it if we're not careful.
He entered into the area of improving water quality.
Every one of our communities turned our backs on our river.
Mark and the leadership of LCRA stepped up to the line with us to make sure that the Colorado below Austin would be clean.
We will watch you, but we will watch you only after we have fought you every single step of the way.
Mark just had a way of thinking, what are we going to do right now so we won't have problems 5 years from now?
But we take comfort and we will take rest only in knowing that the condition of this river is handed over to those who come after us in the same or better quality than in which we received it.
Thanks to Mark's leadership, we've had the privilege of participating in establishing a spectacular system of parks.
Today there's a brand new trail which cuts right through the heart of Texas. This trail winds along the Colorado River. It takes you from the majesty of enchanted rock in the Texas Hill Country all the way down to the sandy beaches of the Gulf Coast.
If there's anything that we want to be known by, seen as in the 21st century, then it will be represented by facilities and programs such as McKinney Ruff's and the Environmental Learning Center.
I think his direction on the LCRA and his interest in the environment has really helped my river that I live on.
Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou.
I think of the wonderful people, you know, I call them my angels, all the angels that have been in this organization, from Burton Latoul, Judge Miller, Cecil Long.
A little confused because, you know, as Miss Rita said there, that when they put up a monument or something, you've passed, and I feel pretty good this morning.
And Cecil Long, with his little hat and his giant heart, was a real Texan. Nobody loved the Colorado River or the LCRA more than Burton Latoul. He was a tremendous person, and his wonderful and gentle spirit and dedication will be missed.
19 months ago, we all lost a good man in Bruce White.
It was Colleen Reed, 1963 to 1991. She is remembered here for her intelligence, positive nature, and joy in life.
Turn and face the strain. Changes. Don't wanna be a richer man. Changes. Turn and face the strain.
From inside the organization, outside the organization, our customers, they watched us from 1991 until today freeze our rates, lower our costs, organize our institution along business lines, and be successful. And, you know, success is what calms, this ain't real hard to figure out. Success is what calms everybody down, and failure seems to be what gets everybody upset. I'm not an MBA, but I'm beginning to figure out that parts of this are pretty easy.
Changes. It's gonna have to be a different man.
He literally made our city beg to buy back our own water, which is flown from us down to the coast.
$100 million is a lot of money, but this is a lot of water.
So he stuck it to us good, and you know, we all liked it.
That will be his legacy in providing
water for Texans for decades and decades into the future.
Mark, about the only thing that you and I have seriously disagreed on are mugshots.
Oh, yeah.
In that respect, what we've done, my staff has gone out and collected some new pictures of you, man of action, doing what you do so well. And I want to give you some early sign of what you'll begin to see on the pages of the American Statesman from now on. Here's one, for example, that shows your festive nature. This was taken at one of the recent Christmas parties around town. I think that may be Jack Martin here, but I'm not quite sure. And we know that the new Canyon of the Eagles retreat has given you some opportunities to get with your staff on a more compassionate and intimate basis. We know you're going to do very well, and you'll be quite well prepared for your run for governor. And we'd appreciate it if you would be our pipeline for news flowing from public strategies to the Austin American Statesman. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
If I had an enemy out there, I'd just sort of try to run over them, mow them down, beat them. You know, that's the name of the game. Mark developed a much simpler approach after I left. He just hired them. And I would imagine just about everybody and his uncle in the Austin area is working for LCRA now, but it's a more cost-effective approach.
He is a man of decision.
Bright, he's quick, he's a very dedicated person, goal-oriented.
A strategic thinker.
Honest person, he's trustworthy. Just all the little Boy Scout things that you can think of.
Articulate. He is well-reasoned.
Self-critical. He is a realist.
Thinks of the customer. He thinks of his employees. He's innovative, and he's visionary.
Feeling for people. I know the times that I've been around him, he's always very, very friendly and outgoing to the employees as well as to the customers.
Feisty, savvy, unusual.
Innovative, imaginative.
He is a smart cookie.
Somewhat of a quiet demeanor about him, but he really is a leader, and both a formal leader and an informal leader.
I think I would call him impressive. I think he is one of the most politically adept people I've ever seen. He has great instincts.
He won't just say what you want him to say. In fact, he almost goes out of his way to say what you don't want him to say.
He's a leader. He's a strong leader. He makes the decision, and then he leads forth.
Well, I just feel like his mother. I like everything he does.
It really all comes back to the river. We're here to protect it, and I'm wet, and you can tell that it's raining. Wait a minute, this just feels dumb.
I present to you the key to the city of Georgetown.
Hell, let's do 10 more.
Now, we know he's under contract, but there's bound to come a day that he'll feel the need to move along. But until that day, we'll give him 110%, hang in there till the end, because the thing we like best about Mark, he's our boss and he's our friend.
I leave this organization knowing that we're making a valuable contribution to Central Texas, that we are relevant, and that the job that the men and women at the LCRA do counts. And that, to me, is what it has always been about, always should be about, and that's what I'm proud of. My future lies somewhere else now, and that's where I will live. But I will always carry with me a piece of the LCRA.